This is my audience. No cards, single-sided. Oops. Do you have any idea what my life is like behind the scenes? No. Do I have any idea what your life is like behind the scenes? No. But we're so quick to jump to conclusions and judge one another without even getting to know each other. What if I told you my parents were dirt poor and I had to work 3 jobs just to get by, which meant I don't get to buy name brand clothes that everyone else has, but that's why I'm harassed at school. And this harassment leads to a snowball effect on my mental health, ultimately leading to me wanting to commit suicide. Although this is not my case, this is the case for thousands of kids across the world. And because of this harassment, the rates of teenage suicide have increased higher than they've ever been. Our teen years were supposed to feel on top of the world, but instead we're all trying to stay afloat. My goal by the end of this speech is for my audience to know the prevalence of suicidal teen rates, the main factors that play a role, and the resources available to help. Teenage suicide is a growing cancer that needs to be addressed. Over the past decade, the rate of teen suicide has been at a constant increase. Aaliyah Dastigar, a journalist from USA Today, states, the rate of suicide among those 10 to 24 has increased by 60% from 2007 to 2018, not only proving that it's a major problem, but it wasn't a problem that occurred overnight. She also emphasizes it's a real trend that has been demanding for a while. Notice how she says a trend. She's comparing teenage suicide to a trend. A trend is something that society does as a whole. Wearing an oversized sweatshirt is a trend these days. Taking pictures of your food before you eat it is a trend. But teenage suicide should not be a trend. And that's why I think it's absolutely insane that it's getting compared to a trend. But it gets worse. During the pandemic, teenage suicide has increased from it already increasing. A survey by the CDC says 75% of respondents 18 to 24 have reported having a mental or behavioral illness. 25% of those 75% have reported wanting to seriously considering committing suicide within 30 days prior to taking that survey. So to paint a better picture for you, let's say 400,000 kids 18 to 24 take this survey. 75% of those 400,000 kids reported having a mental or behavioral illness would be 300,000. Now, 25% of those 300,000 have reported seriously considering committing suicide within 30 days prior to this survey. So 25% of those 300,000 is 75,000 kids have said that they want to commit suicide within 30 days prior, which the numbers are probably bigger, if I'm being honest, but I just threw a number out for you guys to have a better picture. The worldwide pandemic is and has not been the only main issue to teenage suicide. There are plenty of other causes that play a major role within this issue, some of which you have been a victim of or guilty of doing. Yes, sometimes people can have mental or behavioral illnesses based off their genetics or biology, but most of the time it's an outside influence. Bullying is a huge issue not only in schools but also online. People can find whatever they want, say whatever they want, be whoever they want, and leave whenever they want with a click of a couple buttons. Not only to mention the unhealthy stereotypes constantly drilled into our brains of how our bodies are supposed to look, how much money we're supposed to make, how we're supposed to perform, when we're supposed to get a job. All this stuff is constantly seen and drilled into our brains on social media, and it's nuts. Speaking about performance and the real world, let's talk about college. The way college is ran is absurd to me. You're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to take classes, and these classes aren't just take them and leave. You have 3 hours per credit hour, times that by 18 credits if you're taking 18 credits like I am, while also working to get by, while also taking time for your mental health, while also taking time to spend time with others. And for what? All this stress for what? To get a job? To get a job to pay for the loans that you had to take out, to take the classes you need, to then get the job you need, to pay for your life that you need to live. I know it sounds super appealing, right? According to this article by Julia Reyes, she found, those who opt to go to college are put under such intense levels of stress that nearly 1 in every 5 college students considers taking their life. So to paint another picture for you, let's say you have a class of 100 students, and 1 in every 5 of those students seriously considers taking their life. So if you have a class of 100, that means 20 people in your class of 100 right now are seriously consider taking their life due to the amount of stress college is putting them in. Which should not be a case, but I'm honestly not surprised at all because it's insane the amount of stress we're put under. Although it may seem as if this problem has zero solutions, there are places, people, and communities out there to help. There are multiple different organizations shedding a light on this issue. One of the main organizations that has a vast amount of resources is American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They provide resources for those who have mental health, substance abuse, suicidal thoughts, and even a crisis hotline for those needing immediate help without wanting to go to law enforcement. And lastly, for parents, there are communities and people and places out there willing to help you help your child. Don't tell your child to suck it up or that you had it a lot worse than they did, because newsflash, it's a completely different world than what it was when you were living in it at age 20. I hate to break it to you, but it is. Social media and bullying online and bullying in schools and kids these days think that they deserve everything, and it's a complete different world than what you were living in. So the most important thing for you to do is to make sure that your child knows that they have your support and your shoulder to lean on. In conclusion, suicide among teens is a major issue that has been here for a long time. The common factors still play a major role, but there are resources out there to help. Suicide is a cancer that isn't going to go away overnight and that needs to be addressed. We, the future generation, can and will make a difference for the future generation to come. We must stop being so judgmental and harassing one another without even knowing each other. We need to learn to live with one another instead of constantly trying to overshadow each other. The next time you think about harassing someone online or judging someone by their looks, remind yourself, you have no idea who that person is. You have no idea what's going on in their life, and they don't know anything about you either. So, shut your mouth and move on. Thank you. And I'll show the audience again. Thanks for coming.